Good afternoon, 5 o'clock here at WDBO. Our top story, the Iowa caucuses and New Hampshire presidential primary are this month, and Republican candidates are trying to convince voters why they should be in the White House. Fox's Mark Meredith.
Former President Trump is back in Iowa tonight, determined to hold on to his polling lead. He says it's a two-way love fest, and the state holds its caucus in 10 days. Overnight, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis and former Ambassador Nikki Haley both launched fresh attacks against Trump, claiming they're the only ones who can win over moderates who may be fed up with the main frontrunner. Haley's critics, including DeSantis, are attacking her for some comments she recently made, suggesting that if she comes up short in Iowa, it would be up to New Hampshire to correct the record. Haley says it wasn't a serious critique, more of a joke, but the DeSantis campaign really trying to play this up as a gaffe to Iowa voters. Vivek Ramaswamy doing all he can to stay competitive, even selling $33 million worth of stock to try to fund his campaign.
Former President Trump is still facing ballot disqualification lawsuits over his involvement in the January 6th Capitol riot. Well, while the Justice Department says it's encouraged by the drop in violent crime this year, the Attorney General says he's worried about growing threats against public officials.
The FBI reported murder numbers dropped by 6%. Some big cities saw double-digit decreases. But Attorney General Merrick Garland says at the end of last year, his department saw a big spike in individuals
making violent threats against FBI agents, federal judges, including a Supreme Court justice, presidential candidates.
And that's created extra security costs for many public officials. Andy Field, ABC News, Washington.
WDBO is turning 100 and we're giving away lots of cash. The payroll payout is starting back up Monday at 8 a.m. Download our app now so you're ready to win $1,000 5 times a day. You could get paid just for listening to WDBO. It's 5:02. Hello, everybody. Happy Friday.
Well, hello, everyone. Karen, no, Paul's not going to be joining us tonight. You'll hear him for the traffic, but he's pulling extra duty over on his side tonight, so we'll be he'll be not on camera with us today.
Powerful storm is here for next Tuesday. From Channel 9, I'm Chief Meteorologist Tom Terry.
Now, from the Bogan Munz & Munz WDBO Traffic Center. Auto accident? Choose Bogan Munz & Munz.
We have a crash on I-4 eastbound right before Cayley as you make your way into downtown. They got the right lane blocked off, and that's causing some brake lights now just about at Orange Blossom Trail. That's where you're going to start seeing the slowdowns. Just have some patience heading into downtown eastbound. Westbound, you'll also have some slow traffic now from Princeton to Colonial. At the 429, we have that same pattern of slowing from 408 to the Florida's Turnpike northbound, and then the 429 southbound. That whole big turnaround in that area is really jammed up as well. From the WDBO Traffic Center, I'm Paul Cross.
Local news, national news, even feel-good news, delivering the topics that are relevant to you.
That's why I listen to Joe. He covers it all.
The Joe Kelley Show on WDBO.
Right as we come on the air tonight, we do have breaking news, a couple pieces of it. Let's start with the United States Supreme Court. Literally, as we come on the air here tonight, the U.S. Supreme Court has just announced that they have agreed to consider Colorado's decision to deem Donald Trump ineligible to run under the Constitution's insurrection clause. Now, today was the deadline for printing the Colorado ballots, for the primary ballots in Colorado. The Supreme Court, though, as we discussed last night, they have several different options. One would be to decide straight away. But the option they picked here is that they will take up the case, but it's not going to be today. In fact, reading from their order, the petition is granted. The case is set for oral argument Thursday, February 8th. So next month, about a month from now is when they're going to take this up. So I don't know when Colorado's primary is. This literally just happened. Greg, if you could look up when Colorado's primary is, that would be interesting to know that. Now, that having been said, so the Supreme Court is going to decide whether or not Colorado had the legal means to take Donald Trump off of the presidential primary ballot, but not till next month. Coming up in about a half an hour from right now, I'm going to talk to a lawyer for the Public Interest Legal Foundation, and all they do is election integrity law. That's it. That's all they do. And I ask this attorney whether or not the 2020 election was stolen, and whether or not how the Supreme Court is going to react to this. So fresh as today's headlines. That guest will be coming up in about a half an hour from right now. Also, breaking news: a third release of documents from the Jeffrey Epstein pedophile ring, and we're starting to get more names. We now know, at least according to the documentation that was released just moments ago, a then underage Epstein victim claims that she had sex with the former Prime Minister of Israel, Ehud Barak. I had to Google this because I was not sure if Ehud Barak was still alive. Ehud Barak is still alive. He's 81 years old. And it will be interesting to see if he's going to be facing any kind of criminal charges. But that came out just moments ago. So it is a very active news day for a late Friday afternoon. But I want to begin our show here today with the third and final part of my discussion with Orlando's Mayor Buddy Dyer. I spoke with him Wednesday in what was supposed to be a 10-minute conversation. I thought I'd be able to play the whole thing in one show. We ended up having a 20-minute conversation. And I decided to share that discussion with you over the last 3 nights. Here in the third and final part of the discussion, we talk about the state of the venues in downtown Orlando, these venues that are owned by the city of Orlando. That means if you live in the city, you're a taxpayer, you own these venues. And we talk about the Pulse nightclub memorial and what's going to be done with that in the third and final part of my discussion here with Orlando's Mayor, Buddy Dyer. We're talking to Orlando Mayor Buddy Dyer, and you're listening to the Joe Kelley Show. One more thing I want to discuss with you, and that is the Orlando venues, of which we have several world-class venues, one of which has undergone a name change, and this will be the first time I'll have said these words out loud. The Kia Center, when it comes to our venues, they're going to be on the receiving end of varying amounts of the tourism, the TDT, tourist development tax dollars. Can you give us an idea of what we should expect starting with the Kia Center?
So the Kia Center, which was formerly known as the Amway Center, if you can believe it, it's now 13 years old. It looks pretty darn good for that. But think about your home or any building when it reaches 13 years old, some of the major components, not necessarily the floors and some of the things that make it aesthetically appealing, but the things like the air conditioning and the ability to create ice for the hockey when hockey or figure skating goes on. So some of the bigger things need to be done. And we're asking the county earlier in the year did the task force made recommendations on how to spend excess tourist development tax they have. So one of their recommendations was Camping World Stadium and Amway Center, along with the Convention Center, UCF, and Dr. Phillips. We are hopeful that we'll get somewhere in the neighborhood of $225 to $260 million for upgrades over the next 10 years for the Amway Center. So we can't spend that all in a year, but we have a plan over the next 10 years to make sure it stays state of the art. Some of the arenas that are going up now, I still think we have the best in the country, but Oklahoma City, to retain the Thunder, is doing a $1 billion brand new arena, $900 million worth of public funds going into that $1 billion. So that's what we're trying to keep up with. The Camping World Stadium, we have benefited from tourist development tax to do the entire lower bowl. That's brand new. And I don't know if you remember during that renovation, we knocked the whole lower bowl down. So if you drove by there, you saw the upper bowl just
Which was a weird sight.
It was a very weird sight.
Yeah.
So that old upper bowl still needs to be replaced. So our ask there is $400 million so that we can replace that and also build a field house for use largely by Florida Central Sports in conjunction with that.
And a tarp of some sort, a covering, is that still in the plan?
That's kind of, let's wait and see if what happens with tourist development tax, but that would be at some point in the future in addition to put a roof or a shade structure of some sort over the top, like the soccer stadium has that shields the stands, but is not over the field. And most of the NFL stadiums, if you go down to the Dolphins Stadium, they have that type of structure. So if they're not a totally enclosed stadium, most of them have that shade structure now.
And then the real crown jewel of our venues, at least from my perspective, that is downtown, the Dr. Phillips Center for the Performing Arts, right across the street from City Hall. What is on tap for them? What's new in the future in the year or two ahead?
So I think this is well known. If not, I'm letting out a little secret here. But Steinmetz Hall was completed 2 years ago, and Architectural Digest ranked the Dr. Phillips Performing Arts Center, primarily because of Steinmetz, as one of the 11 most beautiful performing arts center in the world. So we're there. There were only 3 in America, and we're in company with places like the Sydney Opera House. So I think that's a pretty good validation of what we're doing here. So one of the last physical pieces in the building was creating a jazz club. So it's going to be called Judson's, and it's after one of the donors who subsequent Judson Green, who was a former president of Walt Disney World. He and his wife made the primary contribution related to this. But that will be opening in February. So it's the completion of the last performance space. And it's a jazz club that's on the northern side of the building. So that will open the same weekend as the Pro Bowl and that we host the Olympic Marathon here.
It's going to be a busy weekend. Now, I'm a big fan of the front lawn out in front of the Dr. Phillips Center, but at some point, that's not going to be lawn anymore, correct?
That would be their next plan or next step, is to create something more than simply although I have to tell you, I kind of like that.
I do too.
Area that's out there, man.
I like the open space.
You think about after Pulse, you think about what they did during the pandemic. So I stressed to them that whatever they're thinking, there has to still be a lot of open gathering space so that you can have a large volume of people that congregate there for whatever the purpose may be.
Orlando Mayor Buddy Dyer, it's nice to catch up with you and to get caught up with the city of Orlando. And anything that's on your plate that you want to share with our listeners?
The one thing that we didn't anticipate that is definitely on our plate is the city has had to take over the creation of a memorial for Pulse. So we acquired the property in November, and we're doing a lot of our research right now on how to move forward with that. But that's something we feel very strongly about. And I have set a goal that will be completed before I leave office as mayor.
And that's 3.5 years?
4.
4 years.
Cut me 6 months short.
Oh, sorry about that. All right.
Actually, oath of office is this coming Monday.
Oh, is that right? All right. Well, yeah. All right. Very good. Well, congratulations. Orlando's longest serving ever for the city of Orlando, Mayor Buddy Dyer, joining us here on the Joe Kelley Show. Mayor, it's always a pleasure to talk to you.
Thank you, Joe. Look forward to a great 2024.
And it was nice for him to spend some time with me, and really did appreciate that. And I know that if you're anybody who's listened to the show before, you know that I don't view political opponents as enemies. I don't hate political opponents. He is a registered Democrat. I am a registered Republican. But if you ever get a chance to meet Buddy Dyer, excuse me, in person, he is just genuinely a nice guy. He is easy to talk to, and you can quickly find that you got more things in common than you do in opposition. And then, can I give a hashtag fun fact about downtown Orlando's City Hall? For people who are new to Orlando, you may not know this. But the City Hall, which is right across the street from the Dr. Phillips Center, is the new City Hall. I don't remember the exact year of this, but there was an old City Hall that was built. Well, let me rephrase it. The new City Hall was built inches behind the old City Hall. So they had 2 buildings on the same lot at the same time, so that they could continue to work out of the old building while the new City Hall was being built right behind it. And they had to demolish, once they finally finished the new City Hall, they had to demolish the old City Hall. And it was pitched to Hollywood that, hey, we've got a building we want to blow up. If you guys want to use it in a movie, we've got a building you can use. And does anybody know what movie it was? Anybody here on the show currently? Does anybody know what movie it was? You're shaking your heads no.
Was it a Fast and Furious movie?
No, it's a good guess, though. Fast and Furious is a good guess. I'm glad I brought this up. If you guys don't know this, I bet a lot of our listeners.
Die Hard.
Like
a Die Hard film?
No, it wasn't Die Hard either. It was, so funny. You guys just made me forget who it is. It's not Die Hard.
Lethal Weapon?
It's Lethal Weapon. Yeah, it was one of those. It was this. I think it was the second Lethal Weapon movie, and it was the one where there's a bomb in a car in a parking garage. And they keep quipping about, wait, you cut the blue wire or do you cut the red wire? You cut the blue wire. No, cut the red wire. Then he grabs the cat. And yeah, and it's Mel Gibson and Danny Glover. And they cut the wire, and then the timer starts ticking really fast. And then they take off running, and then the whole building. And as the building comes crashing down, you can see the new city hall right behind it. It's a pretty cool scene, and if you happen to own, again, I think it was the second Lethal Weapon movie, but if you happen to own it, you'll be able to at least fast forward to that scene. I think it's the opening scene of the movie, honestly, so you don't want to fast forward too far. All right, coming up next, we have a lot on tap tonight, including music trivia in our 6 o'clock hour. Since it is Friday, we're going to bring back our Friday night fun and games here for the new year. And then at 5:35, we're going to talk to an election integrity lawyer that's all they do. That's all they do is election integrity cases. And I ask him the question, was the election of 2020 stolen? You'll get his answer. That'll be coming up at 5:35. Stay with us.
Now, from the Bogan Munz and Munz WDBO Traffic Center. Auto accident? Choose Bogan Munz and Munz.
Heavy delays through Lake Mary right now. It's I-4 westbound, and that goes from Lake Mary all the way down to Longwood and then into downtown as well, this time from Parr onto the 408 eastbound. We also have a crash I-4 eastbound right before the 408 now. You'll have some brake lights starting around Orange Blossom Trail. This report sponsored by Compassion International. Families in poverty are facing a global food crisis. $50 provides a food kit to feed a family for a month. Just text the word radio to 97646. From the WDBO Traffic Center, I'm Paul Cross.
One of the stars of an iconic 1970s police action show was dead at the age of 80. David Soul played Detective Kenneth Hutch Hutchinson in the hit show Starsky and Hutch. Soul was also ventured into music and hit #1 in early 1977 with Don't Give Up on Us.
Two.
Drenching rain on the Gulf Coast today will become a major winter storm in the mid-Atlantic and Northeast this weekend. Snow and ice are expected to snarl traffic from the central Appalachians up into New England from Saturday into Sunday. 6 inches to a foot of snow are expected across central and southern New England. Here in Florida, we're about to see a lot of rain.
One.
Bill Clinton denies any knowledge of Jeffrey Epstein's crimes, even though the former president is mentioned in depositions that were unsealed. More than 300 pages of documents related to Jeffrey Epstein's alleged sex trafficking were publicly filed by a federal court in New York. Well, we were hoping to go to Disney tomorrow. We have Magic Kingdom reservations, but with the 70% chance of rain, I'm not sure that's going to happen tomorrow. So we'll see. Depends if we want to just bring our raincoats and our umbrellas and trudge through it or not so much. I don't know. Karen, are the decorations for Christmas still up in Magic Kingdom or have they already taken those down? I think that's originally why we made the reservations because my husband loves Christmas and he's like, I didn't get enough Christmas at Disney. I want more. And this is like one of the first days we're unblocked. But if they're down, then we really don't have any reason to go.
Yeah, we're planning on taking down our Christmas decorations tomorrow. That's our goal.
Yeah, take down my outdoor ones. The indoor ones are always a fight between my husband and I. We fight in November about how long the Halloween stays up. And when the Christmas, Halloween comes down and Christmas goes up, we like share November like a 50-50 custody child. Right in the middle. And then I have to fight with him about when I can take the Christmas decorations down. And last year I like gave up fighting. And so we literally had our garland up all year. We had wreaths up all year and we had a Christmas tree up all year. They never came down.
Yeah.
It's too late. And I'm like, you realize this has been because you didn't let me take it down in February. It's been up all year. So we'll see. They were still up on Wednesday. They've started taking them down. Okay. Good to know. Thank you very much. I guess we'll see. I know they can do it all in like one night. So I guess we'll take our chances maybe. I don't know. Depends how bad it's storming.
So I was looking up a little bit into this lethal weapon thing. And apparently a big part of it was Orlando was worried about how much it would cost to demolish the old building. They actually made $50,000 by getting Hollywood to do it for them.
Nice. Good job, Orlando. That's awesome.
Right? Yeah, that's a good idea.
.73 FM and AM 580, Orlando's news and talk.
All right, coming up in our next segment, we're going to talk to an election integrity attorney. We're going to talk about the Supreme Court and Donald Trump on the ballot. And I asked him, was the 2020 election stolen? Who better to answer that than an election integrity attorney? That'll be coming up at 5:35. So stick around for that.
From your office to ours, we're breaking down today's big stories. Here's what you missed while you were at work.
Florida is now the first state to import millions of dollars worth of medications from Canada where prices are lower. That's because the FDA approved it. You heard Laurel talk about this a moment ago. David Soul from the 1970s TV series Starsky and Hutch has died. He was 80 years old. Was he Starsky or was he Hutch? Yeah, he was Hutch or Starsky. Hey, but he was Hutch. New York Attorney General Letitia James asks a judge to make Donald Trump pay $370 million in his New York civil fraud trial. Gosh, I'm sorry. Was he convicted already? Saying the case had demonstrated that he had gained that amount through unlawful conduct. A third round of documents from the lawsuit related to Jeffrey Epstein were released today. Those documents are being reviewed as we speak. Wayne LaPierre announces his resignation as the chief of the NRA, longtime chief of the NRA. He cited health concerns, but he's got a fraud trial that he's going to be facing in the days ahead. Southern California shaken by a moderate earthquake, preliminary magnitude of a 4.1. It happened in Rancho Cucamonga. And I'm told by our own Paul Cross that they have a baseball team in Rancho Cucamonga. Would you care to guess what the name of the baseball team is? It's a minor league ball team. The Rancho Cucamonga Quakes. See?
That's correct.
Because of the earthquakes. Paul Cross for the win, FTW.
Yep.
And lastly, we just got this breaking news just right as we come on the air just 30 minutes ago. The U.S. Supreme Court says it will consider the appeal of former President Trump's disqualification from the Colorado GOP primary ballot. The court set oral arguments for Thursday, February 8th. So we looked up the dates thanks to our crack research team. And by research team, I mean Greg, the producer. And Greg looked it up. And so the oral arguments are going to be February 8th, and their primary election is March 5th. So the oral arguments are in 1 month from now, and then 1 month from the oral arguments is the primary election. So it is going to be a tight schedule, tight turnaround here for these decisions for the Supreme Court, because they're certainly going to have to decide before March 5th on this. I'm Joe Kelley. Coming up next, I ask an election integrity attorney, was the 2020 election stolen? You'll hear his answer next.
This is WDBO.
WDBO.
107.3 FM and AM 580. Orlando's news and talk. And where Orlando turns first for breaking news, weather, and traffic 24 hours a day. Listen on the WDBO app at WDBO.com. Ask Alexa to play WDBO.
Good afternoon, 5:30 here at WDBO. Our top story, former South Carolina governor and GOP presidential candidate Nikki Haley speaking at a Des Moines, Iowa town hall. She says supporting Ukraine against Russia's invasion is a preventative measure that will keep the U.S. from getting involved in future conflicts.
Russia said they were going to invade Ukraine. We watched it. China said Taiwan is next. We better believe them. Russia said once they take Ukraine, Poland and the Baltics are next. Those are NATO countries. That puts America at war. This is about preventing war.
Haley has previously criticized what she called President Biden's slow and weak actions with regards to Ukraine. She says a Ukraine win would pose a broader warning for China not to attack or annex Taiwan. The Biden administration's foreign aid request for Israel, Ukraine, and other allies is currently being blocked by Republicans in Congress who are demanding U.S. border policy changes. Well, President Biden officially kicked off his campaign today with a blistering attack on the man he thinks will run against him next fall. ABC's Andy Field tells us much of the speech was about the dangers of another January 6th attack.
President Biden calling former President Trump's actions and words despicable, and that he remains the same threat to democracy as his followers' attack on the U.S. Capitol.
Trump is now promising a full-scale campaign of revenge and retribution, his words, for some years to come.
President Biden telling his Pennsylvania campaign rally, 2024 is a choice between an election denier and preserving democracy. Andy Field, ABC News, Washington.
WDBO is turning 100 and we're giving away lots of cash. The payroll payout is back starting Monday at 8 a.m. Download our app now so you're ready to win $1,000 5 times a day. You could get paid just for listening to WDBO. It's 5:32.
Of course, Paul would have something like the Rancho Cucamonga Quakes up his sleeve. Yeah, I can only imagine that with the ruling coming from the Supreme Court on that starting on February, I think we said February 8th, and then with the primary starting on the 5th, I think that's going to affect all the other ones that also have removed Trump from the ballot, including places like Maine and other places. So I think that'll be have widespread effects depending on what they decide. So.
Sorry, we're trying to do behind the scenes technical jargon. Trying to figure out some stuff for 6 o'clock before it happens.
Oh.
So, Greg, I think we'll have Alex use the Opal at 6.
Beautiful weather for your Friday evening plans. We're keeping it dry, but not for long. Storm systems moving through.
Yes, Karen, he is. He's going to join us. Hopefully he's less good at music trivia than he is at movie trivia, and I have a chance. I don't know how good he's going to be at music trivia. Let's see.
Possibly be severe. We'll be watching it for you. Highs still in the mid-70s. Sunday, mostly cloudy, 66. Could see a brief shower mainly to our south in the morning hours. Monday looks pretty good, a high, low 70s, and another more powerful storm is here for next Tuesday. From Channel 9, I'm Chief Meteorologist Tom Terry.
Now, from the Bogan Munz & Munz WDBO Traffic Center. Auto accident? Choose Bogan Munz & Munz.
Actually pretty busy right now on I-4 westbound between Lake Mary and Longwood, and then into downtown from Parr on to the 408 eastbound, Sand Lake to 535, and from Osceola Parkway all the way down to US 27 through Champions Gate. Got a crash I-4 eastbound just about at the 408. They had a right lane blocked there. Looks like they still have that lane blocked. So right now traffic is backed up from just after OBT. This report sponsored by Progressive Insurance. Drivers who switch and save with Progressive save nearly $750 on average. Call or click today. Find out if they could save you hundreds on your car insurance. From the WDBO Traffic Center, I'm Paul Cross.
This is WDBO 107.3 FM and AM 580, Orlando's news and talk. In-depth segments on topics that matter to Orange, Seminole, Osceola, and all of Central Florida. The Joe Kelley Show on WDBO.
I love your show every night. You're doing great, bud.
All right, so I knew that the Supreme Court was going to have to do something today with Donald Trump. So I reached into my Rolodex, and for our younger listeners, if you don't know what a Rolodex is, Rolodex is a lot like a refrigerator. It's a small little unit. It keeps your food cold. You grab a phone number. That's where I keep phone numbers, is in my, roll. You get the idea, right? So, and I wanted to get in touch with J. Christian Adams, and J. Christian Adams is an attorney with the Public Interest Legal Foundation. And I spoke with him at noon today and recorded our conversation. And I wanted to talk to him about, what the Supreme Court could do with regards to this Trump decision. So we had this discussion prior to knowing that the Supreme Court was going to take up the case. But while I had him on the phone and while I had him on the interview, I thought, wow, I want to ask him, a genuine expert. We all can have our own opinions about whether or not the 2020 election was stolen. You guys know my opinion. I don't think it was stolen. There were shenanigans, yes, but not stolen. But I asked him if it was stolen as well. By the way, hashtag fun fact, his name is J. Christian Adams. J is an initial because his name is John Adams. So he goes by Christian, his middle name, because he doesn't want to be confused with the presidents. So hashtag fun fact. All right. So my discussion with J. Christian Adams today about Donald Trump and whether or not the 2020 election was stolen.
Thanks for having me.
And tell me, first of all, about the Public Interest Legal Foundation, the work that you do, and then we'll get into specifically why we wanted to talk to you today.
Right. We're the only public interest law firm in the country that focuses exclusively on election integrity, on election law. Some people do a little, that's all we do. And we fight to uphold the rule of law, and we litigate cases. Right now, we have them going from this year from Alaska to Maine to Louisiana to Florida to pretty much everywhere in between, it seems.
And Christian, I know that you have filed a brief with the Supreme Court regarding the case that they're going to hear about the Colorado ballot. Tell me about that.
Right. This is going to be decided by the Supreme Court. There's an effort to have Donald Trump thrown off the ballot. And normally in America, we don't do that. We give people a chance to actually vote for their candidate of choice. We believe in the right to vote for people. But in Colorado, they're throwing him off the ballot. They're going to do it in Maine. And they're claiming that the 14th Amendment of the United States doesn't allow so-called insurrectionists to run for office. And they've got it wildly wrong, not the least of which is Congress actually repealed that provision of the 14th Amendment not once but twice. So it's not even in effect anymore, in addition to all the other problems they have to have them thrown off the ballot.
And is there, though, and I understand what you're saying, and you're the legal expert, but is there, though, the possibility that the Supreme Court could not side with Donald Trump on this?
Well, of course there is. But, look, I've looked at the law. We don't tend to get involved in flimsy arguments, at least at Public Interest Legal Foundation. And Hans von Sukoski is one of our clients in this case that we filed the brief on behalf of. And he is a legal scholar at Heritage. And I think it's pretty clear that no state election official has the power to willy-nilly decide a candidate should not appear because they don't like them and what they've done in the past.
Now, I see that there is now an effort to not just stop with Donald Trump and the Colorado ballot. As you mentioned, Maine. There are now a couple of other states, including Massachusetts and Illinois, that are looking at taking Donald Trump off the ballot. There are now some 156 or so Republican members of Congress that are being targeted for removal of the ballots for the exact same reason, their engagement or involvement in the so-called insurrection from January 6th.
This shows how destabilizing this effort is to the country to remove a leading presidential candidate from the ballot. It's the kind of thing the founders understood. Remember, they knew all about the 17th century when they were cutting the heads off kings, having revolutions in England, civil wars, all over who was in charge and who could have the levers of power. So the founders knew all this, and that's why they wrote a constitution that gave the qualifications for president right there in black and white. And if you meet these qualifications, you're allowed to run. And, it's a very destabilizing thing when these very, very partisan ideologues who happen to be secretaries of state in Colorado and Maine decide on their own to take people off the ballots. Very destabilizing.
Now, there is a subject of election integrity. And if you're just joining us, we're talking to J. Christian Adams. He is an attorney with the Public Interest Legal Foundation. And there is a new survey that came out from Suffolk University and USA Today, where an alarming level of Americans fear whether or not the 2024 elections are going to be fair. How do you respond to that?
Well, the first thing to make them fair is let every candidate appear on the ballot. This relates to our previous topic. If you're excluding people from the ballot, then the elections aren't fair. But I think what's also going on in that poll is a general distrust of the transformation that has occurred in how we run elections. I mean, in the last presidential election, we were just ignoring the law. If you follow the law, people think it's fair. If you ignore the law, it seems unfair. You don't change the rules of a game you play. You know, first down isn't only 15 yards when the other side gets the ball. It's not how we play in America. So I'm not surprised by that poll because so many people are trying to rig the system.
And let me ask you lastly here, not what is the $1 million question or even the bill, I think what is the $1 trillion question is, was the 2020 election stolen?
Well, one thing for sure is they didn't follow the law. And that gets right back to the issue of fairness. I was in cases, Public Interest Legal Foundation intervened in piles of cases where plaintiffs were colluding, meaning cooking up a resolution with a friendly blue state attorney general to change the rules in the middle of the game. That happened over and over and over. We had the law being ignored in Pennsylvania and Michigan, in Wisconsin, where you didn't have observers allowed in to watch the election. All sorts of shenanigans took place that cannot be repeated if we want to maintain the American ideal of fairness. You can't break the law when you run an election, and that happened in 2020.
With regards to those rules that were changed mid-game, ostensibly they were changed because we were in the midst of the pandemic and people were making arguments, mostly Democrats were making arguments that, you know, we shouldn't all be congregating in precincts and polling and voting on the same day and all that other stuff. I mean, that was the argument, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, the same people who said we shouldn't be allowed to go to church and go to school and everything else. And, you know, they also extended that to the right to appear to vote in person. And if you don't appear in person to vote, we're going to break the law to give you the opportunity to vote. That's basically what happened in 2020. And I think that we now, with the wisdom of hindsight, see what they were up to. They were up to making a system that had vulnerabilities, that relied on the post office of all people to deliver ballots on time. Everything was a mess in 2020. And we learned who these people are, that following the rules is not a top priority.
And again, let me kind of circle back and ask, lastly, the $1 trillion question about whether or not the election was stolen. If it was provable, and I don't think anybody doubts what you're saying, there is no doubt that there were shenanigans that were going on during the 2020 elections, and you're absolutely spot on when you say they were changing the rules mid-game. But if we were to look at it at a post-game analysis, so to speak, could the Trump campaign / Trump administration not have proven this in court?
Well, look, they didn't need to prove it in court in the sense that the system was already being cooked against them. I mean, that was easy to prove in court. You didn't need to prove, that X number of ballots were invalid when you had a much bigger fish to fry, and that was the breakdown and the collapse of the entire structure of following the rule of law. That's where the election was ripped off, was they didn't follow the rules. If you go and play Monopoly with somebody and they're cheating the whole time, which, by the way, there's a cheater's edition of Monopoly. Believe it or not, it comes with orange handcuffs. And if somebody's cheating the whole time, you're allowed to talk about it, right? You're allowed to say that they didn't follow the rules of Monopoly, so their win really wasn't like a good old-fashioned win.
I sure appreciate your time and expertise. We've been talking to J. Christian Adams. He is with the Public Interest Legal Foundation. You can find him online at publicinterestlegal.org. Christian, thank you so much, and Happy New Year to you.
Thank you for having me.
We will certainly hang on to that guy's number. I'll put it back into my Rolodex so that we have it for future use as well. And if you want to be able to hear that conversation again, if you want to learn more about that, we've got it posted for you. Just look for the story in the WDBO app. It is also a special bonus episode of the Joe Kelley Show podcast. So you can listen to that along with my the full interview with Orlando Mayor Buddy Dyer is also a special edition, a special episode on the Joe Kelley Show podcast, wherever you get your podcasts. Coming up at 6 o'clock, we're going to loosen up the neckties. We're going to untie our shoes. We're going to put our ball caps on backwards and go crazy. And we're going to relax and chill out. And we're going to have our Friday night fun and games with music trivia. Music trivia, because you guys suck at motion picture trivia. So I'm switching it back to music trivia. That'll be coming up just after 6. Stay with us.
The Joe Kelley Show on WDBO. Now, from the Bogan Munz & Munz WDBO Traffic Center. Auto accident? Choose Bogan Munz & Munz.
Got a new crash now, John Young Parkway southbound. It's at Washington Street, which is right smack dab in between Colonial and the 408. They have a left lane blocked on that southbound side. Seeing some heavy delays on the Turnpike to 429 southbound transition. So that's northbound Turnpike to southbound 429. We got reports of a couple of crashes, or at least one crash on that ramp, and that's tying things up there. I-4 is also very busy on the eastbound side as you get toward World Drive and then past the Disney exits and approaching Sand Lake. This report sponsored by Mothers Against Drunk Driving. For victims of drunk and drug driving, your grief is unique, but you're not alone. You always have a place at MAD. Call the 24-hour victim helpline, 877-MAD-HELP, or visit mad.org. From the WDBO Traffic Center, I'm Paul Cross.
SpaceX is suing to stop a federal labor hearing over complaints by workers who say they were fired for criticizing CEO Elon Musk. The private space company filed a complaint in federal court Thursday, claiming the hearing process violates the company's right to a jury trial. The hearing has been set for March. Florida police say they found a missing Ohio girl after she logged onto a video game in the home of her alleged kidnapper. Marion County Sheriff's deputies found the teenager Wednesday in the home of 31-year-old Thomas Ebersole after she logged into World of Warcraft. Police say Ebersole drove to Ohio and brought the 16-year-old back to his home to eventually marry her. The East Coast is about to be hit with as much as 20 inches of snow. Forecasters say the storm will dump the first major helping of snow on the region in 2 years before it barrels into the east. The storm is expected to pour a drenching of rain along the Gulf Coast all day today and into tonight.
Karen, no, I am positive that Paul would like to be playing trivia with us. So, had to get my hat turned around backwards, like Joe was talking about. Flip our ball caps backwards for the 6 o'clock hour. I honestly hate wearing my hats backwards, though. That's a good question. It kind of like it opens up my vision, so that might be what that might be what it helps with. So, but then this helps me focus. So, like, I don't know. So, does anybody else have any strong feelings about Shaquille O'Neal getting his number retired with the Magic? That was my big story that I saw yesterday after we got out of here. I personally think it's the right choice. Shaquille O'Neal, biggest, brightest star that's ever played for the Magic. He left in some unfortunate circumstances with the Magic falling off after he left and things like that. But still, again, the biggest star that ever played for the franchise, Hall of Famer. I think a first round pick that led the team to didn't win it, but at least led them to a championship contention at least. So I don't know. I think Shaq was the right call. And it being the 35th anniversary celebration, it's a great time to kind of mend those fences and hopefully get him a little bit more involved with the franchise as it is. And again, I love Shaq. I don't know if you guys have seen it, but I've worn my Shaquille O'Neal jersey here before. I'll be wearing it again next week when they actually have him come on. So.
Hey, gang.
Hey, Paul Cross.
Hey there. Quick question for y'all. I want to get meatloaf from a restaurant delivered to the house. Right. Where's a good place to get meatloaf delivered to the house?
We just recently had Cheddar's, and they had a pretty decent meatloaf.
Okay. My mother-in-law likes meatloaf. I'm trying to be safe. I can get her something she's gonna like. So Cheddar's. Okay, looking at that. Thank you. I don't know how long I'm gonna last in here, but I'll try my best.
And talk WDBO.
All right, y'all remember, some of our younger listeners may not remember this. Some of our older listeners may not remember this, because they don't remember things. Because once you get older, you start forgetting things anyway. So I'm not sure anybody would remember this, but Paul Harvey, a former radio broadcaster, rest in may he rest in peace. Paul Harvey had a piece, had a recording called "So God Made a Farmer." Remember that? It went something like this.
And on the 8th day, God looked down on his planned paradise and said, "I need a caretaker." So God made a farmer.
And it goes on. It's about 2.5 minutes long. Well, somebody used AI and flipped the script a bit.
And on June 14th, 1946, God looked down on his planned paradise and said, "I need a caretaker." So God gave us Trump. God said, "I need somebody willing to get up before dawn, fix this country, work all day, fight the Marxists, eat supper, then go to the Oval Office and stay past midnight at a meeting of the heads of state." So God made Trump. "I need somebody with arms, strong enough to rustle the deep state, and yet gentle enough to deliver his own grandchild. Somebody to ruffle the feathers, tame cantankerous World Economic Forum, come home hungry, Have to wait until the First Lady is done with lunch with friends. Then tell the ladies to be sure and come back real soon.
I'm not saying that it's a cult. I'm just saying there are cult-like moments for the Trump fanaticals to make something like that. There's a whole video that goes with it, and the God Made a Trump is a full minute longer than Paul Harvey's God Made a Farmer. I mean, it is long. It just goes on and on and on and on and on. Anyhow, coming up next, stay with us. Friday night fun and games, music trivia. Everybody get your pencil and paper and your headphones, your listening ears on. We'll have that for you coming up next here on The Joe Kelley Show.
The Joe Kelley Show on WDBO. Now, from the Bogan Munz & Munz WDBO Traffic Center. Auto accident? Choose Bogan Munz & Munz.
Still of that crash on John Young Parkway southbound at Washington Street. That's between Colonial and the 408. Looking at those delays now on I-4 westbound. They're still there in Lake Mary. Getting a little bit better now into downtown. Just a little bit of a tap of the brakes on the 408 eastbound ramp through downtown. Also Sand Lake to 535 and then 192 into Champions Gate. Didn't get what you wanted for Christmas? Get the refresh computers. Dell computers starting at just $129. Refreshcomputers.net and the Superstore in Longwood. From the WDBO Traffic Center, I'm Paul Cross.
WDBO Orlando, WOEX-FM HD2 Orlando, W297BB Orlando. Powered by Talon Wealth Management. Visit guardingyournestegg.com. Listen everywhere at WDBO.com, a Cox Media Group station. This is WDBO.
WDBO.
107.3 FM and AM 580. Orlando's news and talk. And where Orlando turns first for breaking news, weather, and traffic 24 hours a day.
Good evening, 6 o'clock here at WDBO. Our top story, GOP presidential candidate Nikki Haley calling out recent attacks against her by the Donald Trump and Ron DeSantis campaigns. She addressed them at a town hall in Des Moines, Iowa.
Every one of those commercials is a lie. Ron DeSantis knows it.
Those attacks involved her past record as governor of South Carolina and comments she made about the Trump administration's travel ban from Muslim-majority countries. Haley and Governor DeSantis are fighting for second place in Iowa as former President Trump still holds a commanding lead in recent polls. Well, ahead of a civil corruption trial, the longtime leader of the National Rifle Association is stepping down.
As CEO, Wayne LaPierre has led the NRA for more than 3 decades, where he pushed back any attempts at gun control in the face of mass shootings. But now the 74-year-old is resigning ahead of a New York civil trial, where he and other executives are accused of spending millions of dollars of donors' money on expensive perks, including in LaPierre's case, the use of a 107-foot yacht. LaPierre has said cruising the Bahamas on that yacht was necessary because he was facing security threats in the U.S. after mass shootings. Dave Packer, ABC News.
WDBO is turning 100 and we're giving away lots of cash. The payroll payout is back starting Monday at 8 a.m. Download our app now so you're ready to win $1,000 5 times a day. You can get paid just for listening to WDBO. It's 6:02.
For any of you that could hear that last ad, that Crystal Flush ad, I cannot stand it. It is, ugh. Talking about toe fungus the entire time. It's nice that they're advertising on our radio station, though. So thanks, Crystal Flush. But they could ask me to do the voice. I would do the voice for them. They're using like the TikTok voice. I hate that. I've got it in queue. Karen, that is a good suggestion. Meatloaf from Cracker Barrel. They do have delicious meatloaf as well.
The Joe Kelley Show on WDBO.
So glad you're joining us here on a Friday night, and we're bringing back here for 2024 our Friday night tradition of Friday night fun and games. And we have learned from past episodes that doing movie trivia is a terrible idea. Because it seems as if our contestants don't know movies as well as they know music. So we're bringing back music for tonight's trivia. And our contestants are in no particular order. Actually, they're totally in order. Laurel Lee. Hello, Laurel.
Hello there.
This is where, Laurel, you would say hi.
Sorry, Greg is on the phone too. I think
Okay.
our surprise contestant was having some issues, and I don't know what they were, but I think I told him to call in instead. So I think Greg's handling that.
I think we have a pretty good idea of who the surprise contestant is then at this point. Paul Cross, who's going to join us as he is able. He's actually juggling. He's multitasking at this hour, so he may be joining us here and there. Hello, Paul.
Hello there, guys.
And then, of course, Greg Rhodes.
Heard my name.
Yep. And do we have Alex?
I do. I have him on the phone line.
So we have Alex, also known as Mr. Laurel Lee, is joining us right now. Hi, cutie. Is he there? Oh, am I supposed to pull it up? Hang on. I've got too many windows open.
We do this every day. I don't know if you guys know this, but we're professional radio people.
It's been a long year.
We even have rehearsals. You know, we rehearse this all day, and we still blow it. Alex, are you there?
Testing 1, 2, 3.
Yes. All right, Alex.
All right.
Alex has his act together far more than we do. All right, so get a pencil and paper, everybody. That includes all of our listeners. Get a pencil and paper. I'm going to rattle through a whole bunch of very, very short song clips. You're going to write down the title and the artist. You get a point for each. Okay, so if you only know the title of the song or only know the artist, give yourself 1 point. If you know both, give yourself 2 points. Here we go. Song number 1. How's it? Song number 1. I'll let you hear it one more time. Song number 2. I'll let you write it down. Song number 3.
With the distance, now I'm back on my feet.
I can hear pencils scratching away furiously.
Is this artist and song title, Joe? Is that what we're doing?
Yes, Paul, that's what we're doing.
Okay.
That's exactly what we're doing.
I'm sorry.
Here's song number 4. Song number 4. Here is song number 5.
Maybe I'm just too demanding.
Got it? Song number 6.
Won't you come to your
The titles are too long, and it takes too long to write them down.
You know what's taking a long time is you talking. when you could be writing instead.
I feel like I should be a court stenographer.
Right.
I can't.
Okay, here, I'll play it for you again.
Won't you come to your
That's number 6. Here's number 7.
Don't be discouraged, don't worry.
I'll play it again. Here's number 7.
Don't be discouraged, don't worry.
Here is song number 8. I like that we're all able to dance for about 3 seconds when each of these songs comes on. Here is song number 9. Oof. Song number 9 again. And song number 10. I'm sorry, Laurel, did you say something?
I'm just singing.
Oh, you're singing. Okay.
I'm singing.
All right. There you go. Pencils down, everybody. All right. You got to keep your own score. Again, you get 1 point for the title, 1 point for the artist. And we circle back to our first song. Here we go. All right, Laurel, what is it? What do you have?
I don't know. I guessed it was Elvis.
Okay. Paul Cross.
I will tell you that I got all 10 of them.
Wait,
So,
hang on.
I know. So what do you?
Hang on. I want to back up just a second. After Laurel's answer, I heard a guffaw.
You can't guffaw me this early.
I heard a guffaw
Listen,
on the phone.
we heard this on the radio, and I told her who it was, and I can't believe she forgot, and she couldn't believe that it was.
Okay, look, it should be Laurel, Greg, Alex, Paul.
All right, let me change the order. Paul's got to be last.
Yeah.
And so it's all right. Laurel, Greg. All right. So Greg, who do you have?
I've got Queen, Crazy Little Thing Called Love.
All right. Alex.
Queen, Crazy Little Thing Called Love.
Paul.
That is correct.
Yeah, crazy. Paul can be the arbiter of all. All right. Here's song number 2. Laurel, who is it?
It's Hit Me With Your Best Shot. I don't know the artist.
All right. Greg Rhodes.
Joan Jett with Hit Me With Your Best Shot.
Alex.
Hit Me With Your Best Shot, Pat Benatar.
And Paul Cross.
And Alex is correct.
Yeah, Pat Benatar. Hit Me With Your Best Shot. All right. Song number, what is this, 4?
With the distance, now I'm back on my feet.
Laurel.
That's Eye of the Tiger. I don't know the artist.
Greg Rhodes?
Yeah, I have the Tiger. I think I wrote Survivor. I think that's the name.
Paul?
Well, Alex is before me.
Alex, I'm sorry, Alex.
I have the Tiger Survivor.
Yep.
That is correct.
Yeah, that's
I'm just
exactly
going to say that is correct. I'm just going to say that.
Yeah. Bonus point. What movie is that from?
Rocky 3.
Was it Rocky 3? I know.
Well, Alex is our movie guy.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. If he says Rocky 3, then it's Rocky 3. All right, here's your next one. Laurel.
Toto by Africa. Toto, Africa. Africa, Toto.
Yeah, it's sort of. Yeah, okay. Greg.
Toto, Africa.
Alex.
Toto, Africa.
Paul.
Yeah, that's what it is.
A sweep on that one. How about that?
Maybe I'm just too demanding.
Laurel, go.
Oh, When Doves Cry, Prince.
Greg.
When Doves Cry, Prince.
Alex.
Doves Cry, Prince.
Paul.
Ditto.
Okay. Laurel.
Don't you forget about me. Simple Minds.
Wow. Greg.
I know.
I blanked on it.
Wow. Okay. Alex.
Don't you forget about me, but I put down Tears for Fears. I blanked out.
Oh, wow. Paul Cross.
Yeah.
What Laurel said.
Yeah, it's Don't You Forget About Me by Simple Minds. And bonus point, what movie is that from?
Breakfast Club.
That's right. Breakfast Club. All right, here's your next one.
Don't be discouraged, don't worry.
Laurel, who is that?
That is Joe Kelley singing in the shower.
Greg.
She gets bonus points for that one.
I didn't have the song, but is it Cyndi Lauper?
And Alex?
I said Cyndi Lauper, and I don't know the song either.
And Paul Cross.
Cyndi Lauper. Oh my gosh! Now you guys, I think it's True Colors.
It is True Colors.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you guys threw me for a loop there.
That's a difficult one.
Yeah.
That was a good one.
All right, here you go. Here's your next one. I hope everybody gets this one. Laurel.
It's Bon Jovi, Living on a Prayer.
And Greg.
Bon Jovi, Living on a Prayer.
Alex.
JBJ, Living on a Prayer.
Paul.
Not as hip as Alex. I'll just say ditto.
Yep, there you go. Here's your next one. Laurel.
Is that Cherry Pie by Warrant?
Greg.
I'd Pour Some Sugar on Me. My guess for the artist is Poison.
Alex.
Poison, Pour Some Sugar on Me.
And Paul Cross.
And it looks like I'm the only one that's going to get this right.
That's right.
It's Def Leppard, Pour Some Sugar on Me.
Come on, guys. There you go.
I can't believe I did that.
Yes. All right, here's your last one for round 2. Laurel.
Guns N' Roses, Welcome to the Jungle.
Greg.
Guns N' Roses, Welcome to the Jungle.
Alex.
Welcome to the Jungle Sweeps. Oh my gosh.
Poison. Say Poison.
Is it Def Leppard? I think it's Def Leppard. And Paul.
Yes, Guns N' Roses. Welcome to thy jungle.
All right, y'all add up your scores. That's the end of round 1. We will have round 2 of our Friday night fun and games music trivia coming up next. Everybody stay with us and continue to add up your scores. The songs get more current as we move on. We're spanning from the 1980s to the 2020s, and we're going to have some more current songs coming up straight ahead.
The Joe Kelley Show on WDBO. Now, from the Bogan Munz & Munz WDBO Traffic Center. Auto accident? Choose Bogan Munz & Munz.
See, that's my strategy. My strategy was I wasn't going to be able to hang around for the entire session because now you get into the real current stuff, and I'm going to just be terrible at this. So I'll stick around, though. We'll see what happens. 1792 northbound. You've got a crash. This is in Seminole County at Santa Barbara Drive. They have the left lane blocked. That's kind of a busy area right about now as people are lit off from work and they get into the little feeder streets. So be careful there in that intersection. We're still looking at a little bit of brake lights here also on I-4 westbound heading out of Sanford through Lake Mary and Longwood. Downtown looking really good, up to speed I-4 and the 408. Didn't get what you want for Christmas? Get to Refresh Computers. Dell computers starting at just $129. RefreshComputers.net and the Superstore in Longwood. From the WDBO Traffic Center, I'm Paul Cross.
Now the 3 big things you need to know. Powered by Hard Rock Bet.
3.
It could be a Barbie party at the Golden Globes on Sunday. The comedy starring Margot Robbie as the iconic doll is up for 9 awards, including Best Motion Picture, Musical, or Comedy. Meanwhile, Oppenheimer has 8 nominations, including for Best Motion Picture Drama. What's described as a widespread presence of plastics in food is being reported by Consumer Reports. The nonprofit consumer group called on regulators to reassess the safety of plastics that come into contact with food during production. Consumer Reports said on Thursday that 84 of 85 supermarket foods and fast foods it tested recently contained a chemical that's used to make plastic more durable. The latest jobs report is much stronger than expected. The Labor Department says 216,000 jobs were added in December. The unemployment rate remains unchanged at 3.7%. Whoa, they all left. They're all cheating somewhere. They're all listening to music really, really fast.
Anybody mind if I have a bottle of bourbon before we even finish here at 7 o'clock?
Go for it.
Gosh. That certainly would be a lot of fun for you guys, I'll tell you that.
It'd give us an advantage at least.
You're going to get an advantage the later we go here. If you're into the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, those are my wheelhouses. Everything in there. 90s, they start to get a little sketchy. 2020s, oh my goodness.
Yeah, I'm not sure I'm going to do much better either. I don't
Yeah,
listen to
if
pop
he
stations.
asks a Billie Eilish thing, I'm going to be down. I'm done. Good night.
Exactly.
I don't charge very much money if you want to take me as your partner at, like, some of these music trivia bars and stuff like that. I can be, I'm not too proud. I can be bought, I'll be a
Good to
great
know.
team
Might be a
member.
big prize.
From your point of view.
Entertaining.
Man, that guy is a lot taller than he sounds on the radio. And engaging. When we hear you on the radio, it's a good thing. The Joe Kelley Show on WDBO.
By the way, a couple of things here before we get back to our music trivia. Friday night fun and games. While in the last 30 minutes, they've released 3 more batches of Epstein documents. So there is a whole lot more documents that are coming out right now. And it's late Friday afternoon, and what an interesting time to release things. As the news cycle goes, late Friday afternoon, they call it taking it out with the trash. Because the news cycle is different as we get into the weekend. So we'll see. We'll take a look at these documents and see. I did see that Hillary Clinton is mentioned in them, but I don't know the context under which she is mentioned in them. And then Laurel, you mentioned, I think it was the Golden Globes or the Academy Awards or something like that for Barbie, the Barbie movie.
Yeah, Golden Globes. Yep.
I will tell you that after I filled in for Sean Hannity, after I filled in for Brian Kilmeade last week before last, whatever it was. And I talked to that movie critic, and he said that was one of the 10 best movies of the year. And so I said, fine, all right, fine. So I watched it.
I just did over this weekend too.
I did not enjoy it.
What? I enjoyed it thoroughly.
I couldn't wait for it to be over. And I don't want to say I hated it. I just did not enjoy that movie at all. Did Alex like it? Is Alex still there? Alex, did you like it?
What movie was this?
Barbie.
The Barbie movie?
Oh, I don't know why I was like writing down my notes here. I was adding up my totals. Yes, I did enjoy it.
All right, here we go.
Carry the one.
Yeah,
you had to do all the math here.
All right, here's your next song. Friday night music trivia.
I swear we're professionals.
Yeah, that's right. Oh boy, here we go. Okay, write that down. I'll let you hear it again. Song number 2. Song number 2 again. Song number 3. Song number 4. I'll let you hear it one more time. Song number 4. And your last song for segment number 2, song number 5. I'll let you hear it one more time. All right, back to song number 1. Laurel, here we go. You get 1 point for the title, 1 point for the artist. Who is that?
That is My Cat When I Leave the House.
And Greg.
I did not have either.
Alex.
Sinead O'Connor, Nothing Compares. Originally by Prince.
That's right, Paul.
Yeah, Prince wrote it. Nothing compares to you.
In fact, the reason that one of the ways you know that Prince wrote it is that when you look at the title of the song, Nothing Compares, it is the number 2 and the letter U. That's so classic Prince.
R.I.P. Sinead. We lost her this year, didn't we, in 2023?
I do believe we did. Yes, indeed. All right, song number 2. Laurel.
Losing My Religion by R.E.M.
Greg.
I didn't have it.
Alex.
Losing My Religion, R.E.M.
Paul.
Yep, ditto what they said.
All right, song number 4 or 3 or whatever it is. Laurel.
I know it's Michael Jackson. I don't know the rest.
Greg.
Michael Jackson, Black or White.
Alex.
Michael Jackson, Black or White.
Paul.
Yeah, that's it.
That was one of the coolest videos. That was so revolutionary
With the
at the
morphing.
time.
That was very
agreed.
Yeah, that introduced us to morphing in videos. Now anybody can get an app to morph things. Have you seen the thing where I morph into Brian Kilmeade? That's creepy, isn't it?
Yeah, it was super creepy.
It makes all of it. It makes everyone uncomfortable. It really makes Brian Kilmeade uncomfortable.
I was going to say it makes Brian Kilmeade uncomfortable when he morphs into you.
Yeah.
But
Brian's like, can you not morph into me anymore? I'm like, yeah, okay, whatever. All right, here's your next one. Laurel.
No idea.
Greg Rhodes.
Is that Meatloaf? But I didn't have a title.
Alex.
I would do anything for love, but I won't do that by Meatloaf.
And Paul
That
Cross.
is correct.
Yeah.
Is correct.
You know, it's funny. I saw Meatloaf written. Marla wrote that in the chat group, and I was like, "Wait, did I accidentally play that or something?" Was she?
No, I had asked in the chat group, When I first got on the chat group, I said, my mother-in-law, who's 87, is here. I've got to get her some meatloaf tonight.
Oh, wow.
I got to get meatloaf, and I was looking for suggestions on where I can get that from. And so that's where the meatloaf came into it. Okay, so
how
we're at
interesting.
meatloaf night.
It is indeed. All right, here's your last song, segment 2. Laurel?
That I saw the sun. That's all I know.
Greg?
I saw the sign. I don't know the artist.
Alex?
Ace of Base. I saw the sign.
All right, Paul Cross.
It's Ace of Base, and the song is actually called The Sign.
That's right. Actually, Paul is the only.
I saw the sign.
Paul is the only one who actually got the title of the song right. You're absolutely right about that. And by the way, when it comes to meatloaf, and I'll go down the line here, ketchup or gravy on the top. Laurel?
Both.
No, you. What? No.
Neither.
What?
Yummy.
Do you not eat meatloaf? Do you understand what I'm? Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth?
I like either.
Greg?
Gravy.
Paul?
I like them both as well, but I'll go with the gravy. I'm a gravy guy. But ketchup is what I normally have in it.
I'm all about the ketchup. In fact, I will take an extra side of ketchup, and then I will dip it in ketchup. I'm suddenly Donald Trump. I'm dipping my steak in ketchup.
No, I think that's my new band name. Let me write that down. I'm all about the ketchup. Yeah.
All right, coming up next, it's going to be round 3. We're going to get a little hip-hop action. And again, we're getting newer songs as we go along. We're spanning the decades from the 80s to the 2020s. And we'll continue our Friday night fun and games music trivia with our panelists of music aficionados and Laurel. That'll be coming up next. Stay with us.
This is WDBO.
WDBO.
107.3 FM and AM 580. Orlando's news and talk. And
Good evening, 6:30 here at WDBO. Our top story, it's the final stretch before the Iowa caucuses kick off the 2024 presidential primary season, and former South Carolina Governor Nikki Haley hosted a town hall in Des Moines, Iowa to pitch her policies, including her stance on transgender athletes competing on school sports teams.
For all you girl dads out there and all you strong moms, we have to raise strong girls. Strong girls become strong women. Strong women become strong leaders. And none of that happens if we have biological boys playing in girls' sports.
Attacks on transgender athletes have drawn criticism from advocates for mental health in the LGBTQ community, who say those attacks are designed to further marginalize and encourage discrimination against trans kids. Well, a Chinese chess player is suing not over what he took from his hotel room, but for what he left behind.
Yan Chenglong doesn't deny it, but he wrote in a civil complaint in China that he drank a moderate amount of beer to celebrate his win with other players. He says some food caused stomach problems, and he couldn't make it to the toilet in time, but he did make it to the bathtub. Chinese officials in charge of competitive chess declared he damaged both hotel property and the tournament and stripped him of a title. Chenglong is suing to restore his victory, citing mental distress. Chuck Sievertson, ABC News.
Well, WDBO is turning 100, and we're giving away lots of cash. The payroll payout is back starting Monday at 8 a.m. Download our app now so you're ready to win $1,000 5 times a day. You could get paid just for listening to WDBO. It's 6:32. Yeah, you must be psychic, Marla. That's funny. My mom always made meatloaf with ketchup, and I really like it, but I've had it at restaurants with gravy, and I really like it too. I just really like meatloaf. Karen, I bet you make delicious meatloaf.
My mom's homemade meatloaf was always with ketchup. But and I love it, but I can use it with ketchup or with gravy. I do like meatloaf. Can't help.
There's nothing bad that comes if it's with gravy, it's good. So I get it. Biscuits, mashed potatoes, lamb, roast beef, everything's good with gravy.
I know some people that hate meatloaf that just will not eat it.
Really? Well, they're weird.
Oh, yeah.
But I agree, ketchup is just fine on meatloaf. There's nothing wrong with it. And I agree with Laurel's idea of mixing ketchup and gravy. There's nothing wrong with that.
Thank you.
Especially on like a dry meatloaf, and you're like, yes,
yeah,
I need more.
Okay, here. How about ketchup and eggs?
Oh, I don't.
Alex does that, and he's weird. Every time he does it, he's weird. I'm like, no, that's.
I am not a big ketchup and eggs guy.
I don't hate it, but I don't purposely go out of the way to do it. If there's a little bit of ketchup on my eggs on the side of like with my like potatoes, I'm not going to not eat those eggs.
Right. But I don't forcefully get ketchup and squirt it on my eggs.
No, I agree with that.
I'm also a ketchup on a hot dog and a ketchup on a corn dog guy.
I have no problem with that.
People do that.
I prefer mustard if I'm going to only have one or the other, but I like both mustard and ketchup.
People think I'm weird for having just ketchup on the corn dog, so that's okay.
Well, not here, Paul.
I own it. I own weird. I should just have a shirt and a sign. Weird.
Unless you're Alex, and Laurel will call you weird.
WDBO Traffic Center. Auto accident? Choose Bogan Munz & Munz.
Still seeing those delays through Lake Mary, but again, those are a lot more, more up to speed now than they were even 15 minutes ago. Downtown looking really good. I-4 and the 408, trouble-free there. We are still seeing some delays on I-4 westbound from Sand Lake to 535, and then from 192 down through Champions Gate. And we have that crash here still on 1792. This was southbound. Nope, just cleared. Never mind. Just disappeared off my screen right in the middle of me telling you about it. So as Rosanna Dana once said, never mind. This report sponsored by Mattress Firm. A new year calls for a better bed. At Mattress Firm's once-a-year sale and clearance, save up to 60% on select mattresses. The right mattress matters, and Mattress Firm will find yours. From the WDBO Traffic Center, I'm Paul Cross.
This is WDBO 107.3 FM and AM 580, Orlando's news and talk. breaking news to lively debates, covering the issues that matter to you.
I make it a point to listen to Joe Kelley when I need to fully understand what's happening in the news.
Now, the Joe Kelley Show on Orlando's News and Talk, WDBO.
Friday night fun and games, and we're continuing our music trivia here. If you'd like to watch behind the scenes, we have secretly hidden cameras in all of our WDBO studios so that you can see the faces behind the voices, the celebrities behind the names. If you'd like to check it out, just look for the WDBO Facebook page, and you can see that live video and see what we all look like. All of our faces for radio, so to speak. And the one face you won't see is Mr. Laurel Lee, who is joining us on the phone. We were not able to hide a camera at his house, where he is right now. So our Friday night fun and games music trivia, and our contestants are Laurel Lee, Greg Rhodes, Alex, Mr. Laurel Lee, and Paul Cross. And we're ready for our next round. This is going to be round number 3. Are you ready? Here we go. Song number 1.
Now let me welcome everybody to the Wild Wild West.
You get 1 point for the title, 1 point for the artist.
Now let me welcome everybody to the Wild Wild West.
Okay, song number 2. Song number 2. Song number 3.
As I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I take a look at.
Number 3 again.
As I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I take a look at.
All I see is Weird Al Yankovic. I don't know why.
Song number 4. Number 4 again. Here's song number 5. Am I going too fast for you guys? Song number 5. Number 5 again. Here's song number 6. I hope you're watching the video because Laurel just acted out the music video. Here's song number 7.
Whatever happened to the values of humanity? Whatever happened to the...
These are getting harder for you, Paul Cross, aren't they?
I have no idea what these are.
There you go.
Whatever happened to the values of humanity? Whatever
Here's 7
happened
again. All right, here's song number 8.
And all you'd ever hear me say.
Song number 8.
And all you'd ever hear me say.
Here's song number 9. Great video, that one as well. And lastly, song number 10. See, Laurel suddenly is going to be, she's in her element now. And Paul Cross is not.
I think I got 6, 7 of them out of the 10.
All right, so let's go back to the top here. Here's your first song.
Now let me welcome everybody to the Wild Wild West.
All right, Laurel, the artist and the title.
That's Tupac, and it's California Love.
Oh, absolutely.
No, actually. Greg?
I had Biggie, but I think that's wrong. That's all I had.
Alex?
California Love, Dr. Dre and Tupac.
Paul?
You know what? I have it as California Love, and it's by Tupac Shakur featuring Dr. Dre. But that goes up to 11 in my car, Joe. That's one of my jams.
It's called
So what are you gonna
California Dreamin'.
No, it's not.
No, it's not. That's the Mamas and
Yeah.
the Papas.
Yes.
Yeah.
California dreaming on such a winter's day.
Did I do a church? I got down on my knees. That's what
Did I write it down wrong?
Yeah.
Yes, you did.
Sorry. Gosh, I made a mistake. Okay, fine. So California Love by Tupac and Dr. Dre. All right, here's your next one. Laurel.
I know that song. I don't know any of the info.
Greg.
Bop with Hanson.
And Alex.
I can't believe she missed that one.
Yeah. And Paul Cross.
Bob Hansen.
Yep. Hashtag fun fact. The three of them, the Hansen brothers, are from Tulsa, Oklahoma. The town from which I moved here.
You're right. That is very fun. Thank you for that fact.
All right.
See,
turd.
See, Greg probably remembers the Hanson brothers from the movie Slapshot.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Hanson brothers, man. That's just...
Oh, that was a different Hanson brothers. That's right.
Oh my God.
I forgot about them.
They're a little
Slapshot.
eh?
Slapshot. Was that was with not Robert Redford. That was Paul Newman. Yeah. All right, here's your next song.
As I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I take a look at
Laurel.
Gangster's Paradise. Coolio.
And Greg.
Yep, Coolio, Gangster's Paradise.
Alex.
Coolio, Gangster's Paradise.
Paul.
Amish Paradise by Weird Al Yankovic.
That's right.
That was good.
He did do that, didn't he?
That was so good.
That's why I keep hearing that, and I keep seeing the video of him with the dreads and stuff.
Yeah. All right, here's your next song. Laurel.
Oh, another one I know, but I don't know.
Greg.
Faith Hill, but I don't remember the title.
Alex.
That's Celine Dion. How do I live without you?
Paul.
That is How Do I Live Without You, and it's by LeAnn Rimes.
It's How Do I Live by LeAnn Rimes.
Okay, I missed.
Oh,
okay.
Yes. Do you know anybody? Can anybody tell me what movie it's from?
Yes, it's from Con Air.
It is from Con Air. That's exactly
Weird
right.
Combination.
Yes, that's exactly right. All right, here's your next song. All right, Laurel, you should know this one.
It's Nickelback, who is a good band. I will fight with you people if you say no, and it's How You Remind Me.
Okay, Greg?
I had Nickelback, but I had Having Fun Yet.
Alex?
How You Remind Me, Nickelback.
Paul?
I had neither.
Aha. All right. It was How You Remind Me by Nickelback, one of the greatest alt rock bands that has never played. All right, Laurel.
It's Britney Spears, and it's Baby One More Time.
Greg?
Yep, Britney. Hit Me Baby One More Time.
Alex?
Britney Spears, Hit Me Baby One More Time.
Paul?
Britney, never mind. I won't say the last part of that. Baby One More Time.
Yep. All right, here's your next song.
Whatever happened to the values of humanity? Whatever happened to the...
Laurel?
I don't know that one.
Greg?
I didn't have anything.
Alex?
Black Eyed Peas, Where Is the Love?
Paul?
Didn't know it.
Alex had it right. Wow. This guy's on fire.
You want to know why? Because Alex has his Shazam up to the radio.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah, that's what it is.
He's totally cheating.
Don't get salty.
Totally.
You knew the 80s song.
All right, here we go.
Yeah, no. I'm just giving you. I'm poking the bear, Alex.
Here's your next one.
And all you'd ever hear me say.
Laurel.
My little preteen heart would belt this out. Since You've Been Gone by Kelly Clarkson.
Greg.
By now 30-something yourself will belt this song out. Yes, Kelly Clarkson, Since You've Been Gone.
Alex.
I got it wrong. Since You've Been Gone by Ashley Simpson.
Paul.
I have loved this since I was a little girl. This is Since You've Been Gone.
It is a great song. That's Kelly Clarkson's best
Kelly
song.
Clarkson is awesome.
Yes.
She is such a great vocalist.
And to think that she started on American Idol. All right, here's your next song. Laurel, I know you know this.
I don't actually. I think it's Black Eyed Peas, but I can't remember the name of the song. I know.
Greg.
Outcast, Shake It.
Alex.
Hey Ya, Outcast.
And Paul Cross.
Yeah, I had Outcast, but I didn't have Hey Ya.
It's Hey Ya by Outcast. And here's your last song for segment number 3. That one should be super duper easy, Laurel.
It's Still So Sexy. It's Sexy Back by Justin Timberlake.
All right. And Greg?
Yep, JT, Sexy Back.
Alex?
JT, Sexy Back.
Paul?
Yep. Ditto.
All right, stand by. Our fourth and final segment of music trivia continues next on The Joe Kelley Show.
The Joe Kelley Show on WDBO. Now, from the Bogan Munz & Munz WDBO Traffic Center. Auto accident? Choose Bogan Munz & Munz.
Okay, this is where I get wrapped up into the music trivia on a fun Friday afternoon, and I have to kind of do this on the fly. We got a rec on 429, but I'm not quite sure where it is. It's in, let's see here. Forgive me for this, but it is 429 southbound, and it's south of the 453 junction, so it's in the upper north part of Orange County. But they have some lanes blocked there on a crash. Again, that looks like it is southbound. We have another crash, 436 southbound at Michigan Street with the left lane blocked there. This report sponsored by Mecum Auctions. Experience Mecum Kissimmee 2024 at Osceola Heritage Park with more than 4,000 collector cars at auction now through Sunday, January 14th. Your Mecum experience begins at mecum.com. From the WDBO Traffic Center, I'm Paul Cross.
An earthquake struck Southern California. According to the U.S. Geological Survey, the 4.1 magnitude quake hit at 10:55 a.m. local time and was centered near Lytle Creek, which is about 60 miles east of Los Angeles and the Cajon Pass. There are no reports of damage or injuries. ESPN and the NCAA have signed a new $920 million media rights deal. The 8-year contract is worth more than $115 million a year and is close to 3 times the annual value of the current deal. It goes into effect on September 1st and will cover rights to 40 NCAA championships. Former President Trump will appear in federal court next week to argue that he has presidential immunity. Trump and his lawyers will argue that he's immune from prosecution on charges that he tried to overturn the 2020 election because the charges are for actions he took while he was still president. I love they're having a whole another conversation in the chat here. Okay, let me see. Salsa on eggs. Yes, Karen. I love salsa on eggs. And I love hot sauce on eggs. I don't know what the boys are doing. They're confusing me. Hot sauce, salsa on eggs. Good. Very good. Peanut butter mayo. Marla, I have to admit, that sounds a little weird. But I'm also a peanut butter purist, and I just love peanut butter everything. So I'm not sure I can mix it with mayo, though.
I missed a lot.
Grilled eggs. I did too. Well, no, I did not. I did in the one before that.
Should have had a
Soy
few
sauce
of them.
on hard-boiled eggs. I would do that. I have to know why you tried mayo and peanut butter together, Marla. Like, did you see like the Fluffernutter sandwiches and thought, I don't know what that white stuff is. I'll try mayo. How did you try that? That's so interesting.
Laurel, what score do you have right now?
Oh, that's what you guys were doing. I'm so hungry and everybody's talking about food. 24, 25, 26, 27. I have 27.
I'm at 30. Paul is at 42. And then Alex is at 47.
Yep,
oh my gosh. No surprise I'm in last. I'm not surprised.
The last one killed me. The last ones.
The problem is, and I think we talked about this before, I like know a bunch of the lyrics or all of the lyrics, and I'll have no idea what the title of the song is or the artist, or I'll be able to sing along, and then I don't know any of the deets. That makes me
like Leanne Rhymes, How Do I Live? I said, How Do I Live Without You? And it's How Do I Live? So
that was still way closer than...
I docked myself a point.
Oh,
I didn't know Nickelback at all. Nice I didn't know... I knew Outcast, and I couldn't remember the name of the song, and Alex said, hey, yeah, and I went, dang it, because I was trying to sing it. I'm trying to sing them in my head, and by the time I'm getting them through my head, Joe's already playing the next song, so it completely goes away from me.
I'm telling you, you need like shorthand court stenographer handwriting for this.
Right.
I'm like,
and a quicker brain, because that's why I thought it was Black Eyed Peas. I'm sure if I had sat and thought about it, I've been like, of course that's Outcast. I know Outcast. I know Hey Ya, but my brain was going too fast.
So out of 50 total points, Alex had 47.
47.
That is great, Ray. Good for him. That means he only missed like an artist or a song title like 3 times. One or the other 3 times. That's remarkable.
So I live with a know-it-all, and he says I'm the smart one. Mm-hmm. Here's the difference. I'm book smart. Like, I got good grades. I'm book smart. He's like street smarts, we say, right? He knows the pop trivia, and I don't.
I'm equally dumb, so it's okay. I kind of even myself out on everything. I consider myself a jack of all trades and a master of none, because I know a little bit about a lot of subjects.
That makes you an interesting person, Paul.
Yeah, sometimes I know a little more about subjects, but I try to be well versed. How's that?
No,
but
that's
apparently
good.
Not as well versed as Mr. Alex Shazam,
Listen, that's because his college, I'm going to rat him out right now. In his college years, he wasn't out partying and having fun. He was sitting on his butt watching a bunch of movies with his roommates and listening to music.
Awesome.
And that's why he knows all his stuff now. So
no, I totally,
that's
like
right.
I said, I would bring him on board for any trivia contest group thing any day.
Yeah, I would too. Yes, Karen, he is a keeper. That's true. That's true. Part of our love language is, of course, teasing each other, though. So I can't believe I missed Hanson because I was bummed I missed them at Disney because they played Eat to the Beat. My parents went and they never played Mbop.
They didn't pop.
Now, the Joe Kelley Show on Orlando's News and Talk, WDBO.
All right, we're not had time for the full round here, but we'll do this one song. So everybody listen closely. Here's your final song.
It's a lot of bad things that they wish and I wish and I wish.
All right, Laurel, who is that?
That's your favorite rapper of all time.
Do you know the name of the song?
No, I don't.
You can tell everybody what the rapper is.
Drake.
Yeah, Drake. Paul Cross, do you know that one?
I thought your favorite rapper was
Vanilla
Eminem.
Ice. Who?
Or Vanilla. No, I'm sorry, Vanilla Ice.
Yeah,
Right.
no. And Greg, did you know it?
I knew it was a white
Drake, but
guy.
I can't remember the song.
Alex, did you know it?
Drake, no song. I don't know the song.
God's Plan. It's the name of the song, God's Plan. All right, everybody scores. Laura, what was your score?
A whopping out of 50, 28.
Oh, my.
I know.
Greg, what was your score?
I hit 30.
And Paul Cross?
42.
And Alex?
47.
Woo!
Ding, 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 ding.
Alex wins. Congratulations. We're going to send Laurel right over to your house to deliver you your prize.
I am the prize.
For winning. That's right. So,
hey, I'm glad that Alex won because my wife wouldn't have liked that.
Yeah, that would have been really, really awkward. Y'all have a great weekend. Thank you so much for playing along with us. We can't wait to be back on the radio with you again Monday afternoon, 5 till 7. And don't forget, Monday morning at 8 a.m., you can win $1,000 in the WDBO payroll payout.
Now, from the Bogan Munz & Munz WDBO Traffic Center. Auto accident? Choose Bogan Munz & Munz.
Well, we have a crash now, and this one is on 436 southbound at East Grant Street. We also have another one, this one in Osceola County on the Turnpike northbound at US 192. Looks like they have the left lane blocked there and only 2 lanes on the Turnpike, so that doesn't make it fun at all. This report is sponsored by Progressive Insurance. Looking for a career path with flexibility and a great pay and benefits? Go to progressive.com/careers and apply online today. From the WDBO Traffic Center, have yourself a wonderful weekend. I'm Paul Cross.
WDBO.
Paul, thanks for joining us this hour. I really appreciate it. I know you got a lot on your plate right now, and you're in my prayers, and I love you, brother, and hope you're doing well. And that was really funny what you said about I'm glad I didn't win. That was awesome. Laurel, great job as always. Thanks for getting Alex to play along with us. We all love him very much. Greg, thank you very much. You guys did a great job this week. Have a great weekend, everybody, in our chat group. We love you guys. And have a safe and wonderful weekend. Don't forget bad storms on Saturday mid-afternoon. Should be a little bit nicer on Sunday, and we'll see you back here on the radio Monday afternoon. Good night, everybody.